I'm Danya,
And I'm Shaheen.
and you're listening to or watching
Reality Woo Woo.
It's Not Something to Believe in.
It's something to talk about.
And on today's episode, we're going to do the Astrology of festival season.
Can you tell I dressed up for festival season? I feel a little bit more like a farmer, but this is what I would wear to a festival.
This is what you would wear.
Flashy.
That actually brings me to... So this is going to be a two-parter, and we're going to take you through the astrology of March, April, and May, kind of the first half of festival season, because it's pretty long. And we'll do a second part on that. But I think just to kind of kick it off, we're going to hit like the big ones. We're going to talk about Coachella, and we're going to talk about, Electric Daisy Carnival and
previously known as Beachella.
Totally. Lollapalooza, Outside Lands, ACL, kind of all of those. But Shaheen, I'm curious, how many festivals have you been to, and which ones are they?
I've only been to festivals. Well, actually, I've been to Outside Lands. San Francisco festivals like Outside Lands and Treasure Island a few times. And I've been to I forgot what it's called, White Wonderland in Anaheim. It's a New Year's festival kind of situation. It's more of an event. It's not like a multi-day festival, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't have much experience, actually. I've never been to Coachella. All of my friends have been to Coachella since like before it was taken over by the rest of the world, and when it was cool and there was like 20 people there. But
yeah, it's been going on a long time. I'm with you. I've also never done Coachella, which is weird because I also live in LA. So it's like a big
You're a true
draw.
Angelinian.
Yeah, I think at a certain point, to your point, like, Coachella's been so popular for so long. It's been popular since I was an adult. Like it's been this whole time, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like by the time I could afford,
since we were kids, it was already over.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's how I've always felt about it. So I think part of my personality became like, oh, I never want to go, which I think is more interesting. But
I've resisted. I have a different take on it. I want to go only if I'm like VIP and like have a fancy hotel. Like I don't want to
I would never do it poorly. yeah exactly.
I'm gonna live a luxurious Coachella
that makes
lifestyle.
sense. That actually makes sense to me. I could see I could definitely see that. I have been in the VIP area, so I've been this conversation is sprouted based on because of your outfit, because I've also been to Outside Lands when I lived in San Francisco, and any festival where you don't get to be naked, any festival where it's too cold and you have to wear a jacket or a beanie, that's not a festival, I kind of have misgivings about it.
I fully understand that.
That's if you can't run around in a crop top in a bikini top if you fucking want to, and short shorts that kind of, so that's been my kind of misgivings.
You have to buy a sweatshirt in the rain at the end of the show. The whole weekend
then it wasn't what it was supposed to be. Yeah, I have been, so not to Coachella, but I have done Outside Lands. I've done Stagecoach, which is at the same place as Coachella a week after. I've done event wise, I've done Hard Summer back when I was still in college. And then, I bet
that was fun.
It was. I wore, it was really fun. We got invited backstage by LMFAO because that's how old I am.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's how old you are.
I did have a boyfriend at the time. So I was oh no, I actually declined the invitation to go backstage, which is very admirable of me, quite frankly.
That is, yeah.
I definitely, I had the t-shirt, cause streetwear, it was very Obey was really popular at the time. That was the kind of clothes I was into. And so I definitely wore a t-shirt that said, they tried to make me go to rehab, and I said, no. And in the O's, it was Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, and Britney Spears. I was really, I loved that era so much. I love that skanky, trashy, early 2000s. Yeah, it was so good. I stomped around in
black
cowboy
of humanity.
boots. It was really gross, frankly. Yeah, I definitely, yeah.
When
It was,
trashy was actually really cool.
yeah, it was
That
like
was a
trashy
bad
was
time for
so
all of us.
cool. Yeah, it was bad. Bad times.
Von Dutch
Um,
hats and like wife
yeah.
beaters,
What a time. What a time to
ripped
be like coming
jeans.
of age. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, besides our like little trip down memory lane, let's just get started because the first music festival that comes up is the Ultra Music Festival in Miami. So that's coming up March 24th through
Ultra.
26th. Yeah. I don't have
I don't
like
know if they say it that way.
they must. There's definitely that's definitely
There's
how
got
it
to be a
starts.
sound logo over like that somewhere.
Ultra. Yeah, there's definitely that. And so this year's headliners are Swedish House Mafia, which like, please correct me. Did they not break up and now they're back? Like, I'm confused, right? Like
They're
like,
still alive.
yeah, like I
Weren't they doing stuff back in the 70s with Rolling Stone? Like I haven't heard of
like
them
they've
in
just been
years.
around so yeah, exactly. Like when I used to go to like nightclubs, like that was like the Swedish House Mafia days. So I'm like confused that a decade later they're like they're still doing this stuff. Like they're the
I
Rolling
guess so.
Stones of our generation. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was such a good comparison until I said it.
It truly is. They're just gonna tour forever, make music forever. So
Right.
yeah, they're the headliner. So based on the astrology, if you're attending Ultra, which personally I don't know anyone who is, but if you are, these are our predictions, sort of based on based on the astrology that you'll be experiencing. So the dates are March 24th through March 26th, and there's a couple things happening. Pisces moved into Saturn a couple days ago, actually, on March 7th, and it'll be there for the next 3 years. And basically, Pisces is so I don't know. We describe it all the time. It's very like hippy dippy, very emotional, very creative, very like psychic. There's a lot of woo to Pisces, wouldn't you say?
Lots of woo woo in them. Yeah, less reality, more woo woo.
Yeah, and so and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So there's this concept that your judgment can be clouded. So I'm not trying to be like your mom with these predictions or recommendations, but you could fall in love easily. That's good. You could fall in love easily at a music festival, right? There's always a handsome stranger in the crowd.
Be careful.
Be careful. Just like don't let that delude you. Have your fun, because we definitely want you to have your fun, because also what's happening is we'll have moved into Aries season. So Aries season starts on March 21st. So you'll be out there getting it. Like Aries gives us that fire that and it's very impulsive. So just like, think about those things. My big warning is like, don't do drugs you've never done before. That's
Saturn is about like kind of rules and structure, and Pisces is not about that. It's about like idealisms
so it's like
and
awkward.
ideas and dreams. It's kind of awkward, yeah. But maybe it means that like, I don't know, fantasies can kind of be grounded in something tangible.
That's a fair point.
Means, but I think it is important. It is important though to not fall in love too easily with strangers who you might think have security with them.
Who give you the good drugs. Don't try new stuff. Also, this is like a time of like cultish delusion. So we just, you may be really into something, but just like use caution, or bring your earth sign friend with you to the music festival. That's another good suggestion, right? Like bring your like kind of annoying Virgo or Capricorn friend who will be like, no, don't do that. Taurus, you're having too much fun.
Who does Saturn? Yes, Taurus is always having a good time.
Yeah, but your Virgo and Capricorn friends will nag you and have a plan.
Yeah. What is Saturn ruling? Like, does it rule a sign?
I
don't off the top of my head know.
Yeah, it has to.
Seems
I think
like
it rules
Saturn
Capricorn.
Oh, that sounds right. Such
that sounds right,
energy.
right? Oh, that sounds right. Yeah, rules, structure.
Yeah, so maybe lean into your Capricorn friends, trust them a little bit, and maybe Capricorn friends need to lean into their Pisces friends and
Mhm.
trust their natural, like, intuitive side a little bit more. Let it
Yeah,
flow.
go with the flow a little. So that's kind of our take on Ultra for you. So, and then kind of a general, well, let's move into Coachella because that's a fun one. So, and it's also fun because there's 2 weekends of Coachella and the astrology changes. So people who are going to weekend 1 versus weekend 2, you're going to have a different cosmic experience, even though,
Mm.
I'm sure things will be similar, but it will be a different experience this year for sure. Something that
It's going to be different. Something can happen. You
over,
never know.
yeah, an overarching prediction kind of for all the festivals that I want to get out there is that we have Pluto moving into Aquarius for it starts in March and it'll go until a little bit later this year and then it'll go back into Capricorn, but then it'll move into Aquarius for like the next 20 years. But during that time, we're going to we're going to see like amazing innovative technological advances, like and
Mm.
more, and though it might be surprising, frankly, right? Because Pluto's a very surprising sign. So my like
It's
general
far away. It's like my association with Pluto is that it has things happen with Pluto that you don't see the effects of until later. That's
yeah,
about like people in far away positions or something, kind of doing things behind the scenes.
yeah,
So
yeah. And so I mean
Aquarius is all technology.
it's all
Sorry to keep cutting you off.
technology, and so I think we're going to see some like really incredible, like technologically advanced performances. Like we're going to see like more lasers. You know how everyone like freaked out when there were like holograms? Like that was like the tip of
Yeah.
the iceberg. Like this is going to be next level
Mm-hmm.
shit. So I'm calling that. And even now because of the pandemic, right? Like I mean people still want to go to festivals, but I mean the culture has completely changed. Like I was actually thinking about that as I was putting the research together of like how many festivals there are. Like there used to just kind of be Coachella and ACL. Like those are kind of the
Yeah.
longest
There used
running
to be a
ones.
couple.
But because like our generation was so into music festivals that sponsors started being like, and there's this one and there's this one. Like they created a
Mm-hmm.
season out of it because it's a big moneymaker. And
It also makes
now,
sense. I mean, otherwise, millions of people would be going to one city, which would be dangerous. So they gotta
yeah,
spread it out.
I mean, well, but there's millions of people who go to all of these cities. Like there's people who they kind of
That's
have like
true.
stretched it out so much. Um, but so yeah, I was just kind of thinking about like how many festivals there are and how they need to do something to pull people into the festival scene again, right? Because people's habits, like to your point, you and I during the pandemic, we kind of aged out of festival. Like not
Mm-hmm.
that you can't go to a festival when you're in your 30s, you absolutely can. Like no, there's some that are way
I
more
do
family
events better
friendly.
now in my 30s.
Yeah, I think there's, but anyways, that's why all of that, I was very long-winded to say. I just think that they're going to have to up the performance game. That what we're seeing visually
Mm.
on stage, the experiences that we have in this like mass kind of gatherings has to shift, right? Because there's so many things like
Yeah.
pulling you not to go.
Also, they need to, like, I watched Beyonce's performance when it was live on Coachella, like streaming on YouTube, and I feel like they have to show that it's talk worthy while it's
Mm-hmm.
happening, because people who are not there have to get a reason to go there live, because otherwise I'm just gonna be streaming on YouTube till I die.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be a reason to be there. And
Mm-hmm.
beyond like because you can just watch it elsewhere. So okay, so moving to Coachella. So Coachella weekend 1 is April 14th through the 16th, and weekend 2 is the 21st through the 23rd. And the headliners are Bad Bunny, Blackpink, Frank Ocean, Rosalia. Very multicultural, which I like. So for both weekends, I would so
I
Venus
honestly
will
have to admit I've not heard anything from Bad Bunny once. I just hear about them, but I've
oh
not listened to anything.
that's deeply upsetting to my core. So I'll send you a ton of his music. But it's good. It's all very
Catch me up.
party, fun, amazing. He's the most streamed artist in the world, so that's actually quite
I keep
surprising.
hearing all this stuff. You know who else I need to catch up on is I haven't understood anything about Ice Spice near
Oh
Coachella.
yeah, Ice Spice. The only reason I know about Ice Spice is because of all of like the trending sounds on Reels and TikTok are like Ice Spice
Right. I feel like
songs.
this new generation of artists, some like lots of money and promo is behind them. I'm like, out of nowhere. I have not heard of Bad Bunny, but everyone's mad that he's dating Kendall or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so any like during Coachella, your Venus will be in Gemini, and so it's definitely if you're like in a
Hmm.
group of people, like it's all your friends, and you're kind of feeling loose, and you had an eye on, one of your friends, beware of the random hookup because this is like a very like blurred lined kind of time with Venus and
Venus and
Gemini.
Gemini sounds like you don't really
Gemini,
care what happens
you
tomorrow. You're
kind of
just in it
don't.
for right now.
Exactly. And you might be like kind of going back and forth between two decisions, and you're just kind of going to
Mm,
go with what feels most fun in that moment, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds
Um,
dangerous.
yeah. And the other prediction I did have, so like I said, the energy shifts between weekend 1 and weekend 2. And
Mm-hmm,
my prediction, as I mean, you mentioned it, but Bad Bunny and Kendall are dating right now, and I
mm-hmm,
see we're gonna get some good paparazzi photos after weekend 1.
mm-hmm,
Like there's gonna be some drama after weekend 1
mm,
because there's a Venus Saturn square. See, we're getting like very technical with the astrology, but
mm-hmm.
that basically illuminates like unrealistic expectations in relationships, and we all know Kendall has
Venus
some
and Saturn
unrealistic
square.
expectations.
Yeah, no, that sounds like sadness and heartbreak coming. So,
Sadness.
I mean, yeah, and it doesn't seem to relate. If it was something to do with like Uranus and Aquarius or something, I would be like, well, maybe the stage design will fail the second week. But because it's
Mm-hmm.
so oriented around like love and structure and like,
Relationships. Yeah.
yeah, it seems like gonna be tension there.
Yeah. Don't Okay,
Exciting.
this
Spill the
is
tea
another.
next week or in
Don't
April.
go Also, like, don't go with that friend that you like kind of don't like. Like, especially when you're young,
Ooh,
everybody has a friend
yeah.
that they kind of don't like. And
That
so
one friend, do
yeah,
not
that
let
you
them kill your vibe.
yeah, and you haven't gotten mature enough to like move away from that person in your life yet. You're still like
Mm,
allowing them to be part of the friend group. Like some
yeah.
drama could flare, is all I'm saying
You are
around.
you are between 24 and 26 and you held on to this person far too long and you know it, something in your heart. Ugh.
Yeah, you're gonna
If you're
snap.
27 through 30, you're probably moving through past that friendship.
Yeah, but you
We've
might
all
lose
had
it
it.
on this person at this time. And then, so, I mean, basically the big piece that will shift is that in weekend 2, you might want to be just a little bit more cautious about potentially overspending or just like weird work stuff, right? Like I definitely once, like on the Sunday of Stagecoach, like it's by a miracle of God that I was able to like link back up with my friends and get a ride back to LA because I had like lost everyone. Like my phone was dying. I literally like climbed a statue and like chain smoked cigarettes for like a 3-hour performance and like could not find my friends. It was a whole thing. But just be like, make sure you like all those details are locked up because Mercury's going into retrograde. I know that's the one that everybody understands and
Mm.
knows, and we're getting our first Mercury retrograde during the second weekend of Coachella. So just be careful.
It's been a smooth year without retrogrades anyways, and
Thus
it's all
far.
fine.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So you're getting a little bit of a, just a moment, Okay, so that's that on Coachella. Moving into Stagecoach, which is held at the same place as Coachella. It's like a big country music. This is sad too. I had mentioned I went twice. I went in 2014 and 2015 back to back. And it's like, this is now almost a decade later. The headliners are all the fucking same. It's like Link Bryan and like John
It
Party.
feels
And it's
like
like country
no one
music.
has ever changed from this lineup.
They're all, they're all just men too. Like that's the weird part. I'm
Mm,
just like, okay, country's gotten even broier. That's how like
mm,
extreme genres and music is. Like instead of yeah, it's gotten even more exclusive. But we'll
That's
still
really
be,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, we'll still be in a Taurus retrograde. We'll be in Taurus season. So that is one thing I do want to know, is that outfits will be back on point. We've been in like a weird
Outfits.
moment with fashion,
Venus.
wouldn't you
Give
say?
me.
Like
We've been in
I
a what
feel
with fashion? Sorry, I was
we've been in
focused on
like
my fashion for a second.
we've been in a weird moment with fashion. I think like the
Hmm.
past couple years, because we were like all trapped inside, like, and then now kind of emerging, we've just been regurgitating fashion, right? Because everyone was just
I think,
staring at images on the
yeah.
internet, so we're not seeing like
I think the
new
beginning of every
things.
decade has that. Like we have to
Has
be
that
like 2024 before we start seeing what the style of the
this
20s is going to be.
okay? That's a fair take on
I've thought about that
things.
for a while. Yeah.
Do you think we regurgitate? I like, because I don't remember. I don't think we regurgitated in 2010, 2011, 2012, or did we? And
I
I
think
just
every
can't recall
generation
because we
is
were in it.
I've noticed now that I'm in my 30s, I've noticed that like every generation of teenagers is inspired by the generation that they couldn't live inside of. So when
Yeah.
we were growing up, we were inspired by the 80s. We had
Yeah.
80s themed dances, whatever. Now
Well,
the
and we
next
also had
generation has
like
90s themed whatever. And then
we
that
were
starts
also
informing the higher fashion.
we were also this like regurgitating of like materialism, right? So like when I was in high school, it was very
Mm,
like designer jeans and like high heels and
yeah.
blazer. Like I wore that kind of stuff to school.
Coach,
It was,
juicy,
yeah, it was
labels.
all about like big designer shit, which like now it
Mm.
is, I mean, it is kind of that again, right? Like it's like Gucci
Now
and
it's
like
about small
Prada.
design. Like we used to have huge American Eagle across our sweatshirts. Now we have polo, really tiny, or like off-white, really small, centered in the shirt in the t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. If I and it's weird how it like is merging also quickly. Like I feel like it was like it's 90s, but it's also like Y2K, but it's also very Y2K was very 70s, so it's all kind of the
Yeah,
same, like
it's yeah,
circulating together.
great point.
There's no, I
Hmm.
will say there's no 80s. To your point, we already did that. Like
Now,
that was
no,
kind of
we're
early.
dead. Yeah.
No, there's no
Hmm.
80s right now. Like that over
No one
excess,
wants the
like
80s.
yeah, that's like we've all decided that we're just
We
gonna
see the
skip that.
80s in a different sense. It's like Stranger Things. We're inspired by the 80s in kind of dark ways lately, I guess.
That's fair. That's actually really fair. Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that as like an encapsulation of that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
fun.
kind of hookup season continues because Venus is still in Gemini for Stagecoach, and yeah. Then moving into the Electric Daisy Carnival, that'll
EDC. I want them to have one too.
that
They need
does
to
feel like
sound
one
on
you
it.
would have gone to, honestly. And that one, it used to be in
Yeah, have
LA.
that kind of friend group growing up.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's in Vegas. It's May 19th through the 21st. Headliners are Dead Mouse and Cascade. Again, Armin van Buren. I'm like, these were the same people. 10,
Same
20.
exact people.
Yeah, these are all the same people. I'm like, why do we keep, that just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why.
I
If I
wonder.
were
I mean,
22 today, I would go to this
yeah,
festival. You know what I mean?
yeah. I like they would go and see a bunch of like older people who were, I mean, setting the tone for dance music for sure. I'm not criticizing these people, but aren't there new like Gen Z
Yeah, aren't there
like
new
eager
people?
people out
Yeah.
there? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, there's like, at least Coachella has
Other music
Blackpink, right? Like,
genres.
we see the influence of
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, K-pop is now a thing. That wasn't a
Yeah.
thing for us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But and Bad Bunny is,
Mhm.
although we did see like the rise of like, remember, you know, when like Ricky Martin, that was like late 90s, was like the Latin kind of music got very popular, and so like Bad
Mm.
Bunny is like this round's version of that. But yeah, I just feel like with the dance music, the electronic, you know, that kind of music, I'm like, has that not progressed? Like, it's very
It makes
confusing.
me feel like the genre, like the community within the genre, are traditional, and like
Mm,
people within the other communities of other genres that we've been going through, they're progressive, and I
yeah,
suddenly think lower of this this genre. Like
yeah,
what systemic issues are happening here? Why is there no new
yeah.
talent? Why is there no
Why is there
diversity?
no new talent? Why is it the same five white guys DJ. Like, is
Yeah. I don't know what that's
electronic
about.
music the new country music? Is that something we need
Is
to
electronic the music the new country?
float? That
Interesting.
we've uncovered a
It
revelation.
doesn't feel, I don't know.
It doesn't
there's
feel
something
progressive
about that.
anymore, does it? It just doesn't.
Suddenly, I
Okay.
hate
Beyond our
EDC.
criticism of EDC. So
I would
this will
go.
be
I would go and dance my ass off. Just throwing that out there.
yeah, it just FYI, but beyond our like critical breakdown of all of this, it's a time. What I would recommend if you are going, I hope we haven't dissuaded you. It's a time to go big.
Just ruined EDC for
Yeah,
everyone.
we're like
Time
rethink
to
your
go big.
choices. Mars will be in Leo, so this is like, think sexy big hair, like definitely get your hair extensions and sexy makeup. Like, it's a fiery kind of competitive time, so don't let this be like competitive with your friends, you know what I mean? Don't let this be that kind of energy. Like, make it fiery, make it sexy. Like, this, I'm encouraging you, find
Yeah.
someone hot to hook up with. Like, go and do that. Make it be competitive with yourself, you know what I mean? Like, don't make this yeah,
Shine a light on you. This is me
Yeah.
time. You time. me
center
time.
stage for you.
And maybe
then
don't rely too heavily on others. Because they might be in a me-centric place too. So focus on
Yes.
you.
This is an independent time for everyone to do what they want to do. This is funny. And she listens to the podcast. My cousin and I were reminiscing on like the last Vegas trip we had, which I was 23 years old. So it was 10 years ago. I stopped drinking after that. So I totally like, Vegas is not a place for me really. And that she was just reminding me that was a very insane trip. But yeah, like, but everybody like took care of themselves. It was like, okay, see you later. Like, disperse. And everyone kind of went in their own directions, and that, within boundaries, be safe. But yeah, let this be don't bring the needy friends. Just do independence. Everybody on their own kind of plane. In addition to that, it will be Gemini season. So my prediction is like, you could go viral. This is your time to go viral. Like, make good content, make good, funny content.
You could go viral.
You could, yeah, this is your time. This is your time to shine.
That makes a lot of sense. Mars being in Leo is a me-centric time, kind of. Not me-centric, it's independence and like stage-centric. And Gemini season means who knows what the fuck can happen. And
who knows?
I like all
Anything
that.
goes.
The fanning of the flames. Make sure that you have flames to be fanned.
It's like,
Don't be a
for
little
me not going to a festival, this is like insane energy, you know what I mean? But it's like kind of perfect energy to go to a music festival, you know what I mean? Having Mars and Leo and it being Gemini season, like, just fucking have a great time.